Hello, and welcome to NotesIn9. I'm David Leedy, and this is an extended edition. Extended episode 10, Repeat Controls Simplified. Comfort food? What about comfort code? Okay, before we get started in this show, I've got this disclaimer because I'm still in the 853 beta until October 4th when 853 Gold comes out. And I actually show an 853 beta feature in here briefly, a new property in here, so yay me. There you go. So before we get going on, I want to talk about just came out today. There's a new OpenNTF contest at contest.openntf.org, and the last one was a huge success with great custom controls, and this new one is going to run till December 2nd, 2011, and this is they're looking for code to build mobile or social applications. So maybe something that works with Facebook or Twitter, maybe something that works with JSON or OAuth. I know I'd like to see something with OAuth, and to be able to log in, authenticate via, a Facebook or a Twitter or something like that. That'd be cool. So keep your eyes out on this, and please join in. They've got some great prizes again. I think there's an iPad up for grabs again, a potential iPhone 5 if it actually does come out, or maybe they know something I don't. An Amazon gift certificate. So it's great prizes. It's a lot of fun. I missed the last contest, even though I've got a custom control. Kind of lame, but what I'm working on, just because of day job stuff or so. So if you do have time, it's worth the effort to try and get involved in OpenNTF. It's a great organization, and you can reuse these custom controls, which is the whole point, and it's great to have. Okay, so today for the demo, I'm gonna talk about a very basic working with repeat controls in a way I haven't done on Notes 9 before. So let's go right into the demo. Okay, so this is XPagesCheatSheet.com, which is a website that I use to hold a lot of the Notes 9 demos, as well as the cheat sheets themselves, and the database and fake names demo database with some test data. And I guess I should say, if you use this, try to hit this website recently. It's been down a lot because my server stinks, and I'm working on that. But while I was working on the server problem, I was just looking at these repeats, and what I came to realize is that they're kind of fancy. So we're expanding, collapsing, we're showing things, different ways. I've got some boxes going on here. I'm picking rows. Okay, this was a rather sweet demo. But anyway, it's fancy. It doesn't look like a grid or a table or a view, or just something simple. So I wanted to just kind of get back to basics here and do something simple. So I'm going to go into my XPages application, cheatsheet.sf. I'm going to create a new page. And there's not going to be a lot new to see here, I don't think. So this may not be worthy of just keeping, doing the custom control business and adding to the navigation or so. So we'll see how it goes. And the first thing I've got to do is I've got to create my data source. And the way I'm going to do that is I've got to bind to a foreign database. And let's look at that here. And that's right here, fake names. By name, let's bring that up a while because I'm going to look at that in a little bit. So we're going to bind, create a view, and we're going to compute the database, which is so nice, by the way, compared to Notes client development. I mean, this is just the greatest thing. And anyway, this is the formula that I've been using, which throughout the demo app, and it's at formula based, and it works just fine. But it's kind of old school, and someone new to Domino development might not really get the formulas. They would just go to a straight JavaScript solution, I would think. So that's what this is. This is a new formula that I believe is actually on the cheat sheet, and I think came from Jeremy Hodge. Thanks, Jeremy. And basically, all this is using is the database object, which is a global object. I don't know why these aren't in alphabetical order. That would be nice. So there it is, the database object. And it's going to build a path variable. Don't ever forget to use the var. Just trust me on that one. And we're going to add whatever name we want to it. And as long as this fake names.nsf is in the same path as the current database object, you're going to get it. So There you go. That's probably a lot more words than was necessary for that. Okay, our view is called by name. Okay, so now, and we're going to leave it as just called view 1 for now. Okay, now, let's put an enter there just because I can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a repeat control in. And in the repeat control, it's going to be bound to view 1. And we're going to give it a collection name of row data. Again, what's a collection name? Well, you could read this and still not understand it. All this is the variable name for the row that you're processing, which is why a lot of us, I think, use row data. It's the data's row of that. So that's kind of like where that name came from. I think Nathan originally did that one. So now what kind of happens here is I'm going to just first drop in a computed field before we get too crazy, is you have to know what row data is, and sometimes things go wrong. At least for me, maybe not for you. And I'm going to say row data get column values, and what this should be returning is each row, and hopefully it's a refresh, as an array or really a Java vector. Okay, so each row should be returned as an array, and sometimes what happens in the view is things aren't where you expect them to be, based on what that vector looks like. So, for example, if I would change this from a field to some hard-coded value for some reason, 1 or something like that, that won't actually get returned to that vector sometimes, or sometimes things seem to shift for various reasons. So how do you troubleshoot that? Well, what I like to do is I just like to just throw in my row data or my get column values, and then look at it. So if we look at this here, okay, so it's kind of a bad example because there's actually a comma here in the data set itself, though usually my data doesn't have that. So you can kind of see where things are, and that sometimes kind of helps let you make sure you know what you're talking about. Now, if we just did row data here, and I'm ad-libbing here, what does that look like? So this is kind of interesting. You can kind of see it inside this bracket as an object or so. Sometimes that's kind of handy. Probably not in this example, so we're going to move on with life. Anyway, so what we want to do is we want to make this look like a grid or a table. So we're going to come to our table and come down here and put 5 columns in: name, address, city, state, zip. And we're going to drop a computed field in here. And this time we're going to go here and say row data dot get column values. Okay, but we just want the first element of that array I showed you, or vector maybe is the better term. So 0. Okay, so get the first element, the first column, the name column. Okay, now I can drag this on several more times and eventually get carpal tunnel, or we can bite the bullet and go into source. Now, a lot of the top XPagers just live in source, but I'm having trouble memorizing all these tags and everything like that, especially these XP tags and stuff, so I don't do it. So I use the IDE where I can. But when it makes sense, like now, to just simply copy that tag and paste it, to these different cells, and that's what you do. And you notice that the ID names do stay unique for you, and then all you need to do is do 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to save that, and let's preview that. And we get a really ugly looking table. And the reason why it's so ugly is because the table header is inside this repeat. So what I'm going to do, and it's a little easier to do this now in 853, is just move the repeat inside the table. So the top tag comes below this row, the table row, and then the repeat, because we want to have well-formed stuff going on here, needs to come over here. And now if we look at that, It looks like a nice little table. Now, in the old days, in 851 and 52, I think, if we looked at the source and see, this is where I'm actually getting lost a little bit. I thought that it would add extra divs around each row. And they actually gave us a tag, which clearly I don't understand, for the repeat. So if we go to this repeat and look at the properties, they gave us a tag called display output tag in 853. We're just supposed to get rid of that. But I'm not seeing them now, which is what I expected. Oops, I'm in the wrong browser here. Which is what I expected to see. So clearly I don't know what that tag is for. But keep an eye on that tag if you have issues or you're getting extraneous markup that you don't want, because that will be helpful. There are some other solutions to doing this. I don't like them because there's a lot of markup involved inside here, using like XP key headers and footers and stuff like that, and I don't quite get that. So now if we look at our XPage and Designer, oops, that's the wrong database. Repeat demo. Then it just looks like a table. Okay, you don't even see the repeat typically here. So if you want to actually get to and access it outside of the source, just go to your outline and your table, and then you can kind of click on it right there to get to the properties for the repeat. And that is a very simple just grid in XPages. And that's the demo. I hope you picked up something there, or it helped somebody. I know this one was very basic, but the whole point of Notes9 is to not just do advanced stuff, which a lot of my contributors do, but to keep up with people new to XPages and getting started and things like that. I thank you for your time. If you want any further information, there's a couple links here for the XPages blog and wiki, and a bunch of excellent programmers on Planet Lotus. There's still some great paid resources at tlcc.com and Mr. Matt White's XPages 101.net. Gosh, he's up to 60 episodes I saw. That's just great stuff there. It's kind of like Notes9, but like better. So I highly recommend you go over there. And I think the boot camp may still be running from the view. I'm not sure. I might have to change a slide. But that has good material there as well if you can get to it. So here's my contact information if you have any questions, and I thank you for your time.